Hello everybody, welcome back to this rather inactive channel of mine. If you've been a follower of my Instagram account, you are probably pretty well aware that I was in Japan. Yes, I am back in Vancouver, Canada, my home. I had the wonderful opportunity to spend 2.5 weeks in Japan. First time in 3 years. Boy, that was a really long time, thanks to you know what. But yeah, here we have a bunch of tools that I purchased while I was there, both for online purchases and also from some actual stores that I visited. None other than Factory Gear, one store that I like to support while I am there. I had the opportunity to go to two of their stores. One was at their Tokyo, their latest store in Tokyo, probably one of the bigger ones in Tokyo, and in Osaka at their Namba location. So without further ado, let's take a look at some of these products. Before I forget, I just want to say a special thank you to Mr. Takahashi-san at the Tokyo Tennoz Seafort Square location. Store manager there. He was kind enough to leave these off to the side for me so that nobody snags them before they're all gone. So this is just a, as you can see, spoon and fork set with the Dean logo on it. Made in Japan, believe it or not. Yes, Japan has a pretty good industry for cutlery and other accessories for the kitchen, being made in northern Japan, perhaps among other places as well. 10mm open-end spanner, in case you had to, in the lunchroom. So that's a two pair of spoon and fork for two people. Thank you, Mr. Takahashi-san, for leaving that to the side for me. This is not sponsored by any means, but Dean released a few years ago, maybe 2-3 years ago, a headlight cleaner, like a two-part system, a cleaner and a surface coating. I've seen a review done on this, a couple videos of theirs, and I just wanted to give it a shot. I've used some others' products in the past with some mixed opinions on that, so I'm gonna give that a whirl, see how that goes. And let's move on to some products over here on the left. These are online purchases. Let's talk about this little guy here. This one is from, if you can see the letters there, DOGYU, a manufacturer that's been around for a very, very long time in Japan. Hardly any exposure as far as I'm aware in North America as far as YouTube content. I could be wrong, but just a couple items here from this company. I certainly never featured their stuff in my channel, but I'm fully aware of this manufacturer from my days living in Japan as a kid, because I did have a little prying tool, and fast forward to when I came to Canada and I started looking into tools. I noticed that if you go to most home centers or home improvement stores rather in North America, you will come across products from Estwing. And Estwing happens to carry what's called cat's paw, or a nail puller. It's a specific type of nail puller. The shape, I guess, resembles a cat's paw, so that's why, hence that name. But yeah, if you do come across it in the home improvement center, chances are, if the production has not moved to Taiwan already, you're going to get a made in Japan product made by none other than Dogyu. Easy way to tell is looking at the logo. That's how I found out when I was browsing Home Depot and many years ago, and I saw that logo and I was like, ding, that set off something. Actually, I think the product itself does say made in Japan. you viewers can correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, there is a logo, distinct logo for Dogyu. This next item here is missing that logo, but I'll probably leave it there on the upper right corner for you to see what that logo looks like. So this one is a carbide or tungsten carbide tipped hand scraper. Perhaps handy for those occasions where you may want to scrape off rust or just peeling paint from metal ironwork or whatever it may be. Comes with a rubberized grip, lanyard, safety cord if you had to. That's that for 2 items from Dogyu. This is a soft urethane roller. For automotive use, I like to use a roller when I'm rolling the weather barrier, that moisture barrier rather. That is what I like to use, and I've been using a Canadian-made Ricard plastic one, but I wanted a soft urethane one, so this is where this one comes in. Comes with a nice ball bearing. Okay, enough talk about that. Let's move on to beautiful, beautiful hammer. This is something that was in my shopping cart for, I don't know, maybe a year or two. A very long time. It's been in my shopping cart. Just never hit the buy button. But I just decided to do it this time. Stainless steel hammer. Full stainless steel. This one is from, I featured this manufacturer in the past, OH. That is an O and an H. Model number SUS10. So they do make a 2-part hammer, I think it was, 2-component, or rather a soft-faced hammer, if I remember correctly. But this one was more appealing to my eye, so there it is. Yeah, I think it's a sexy looking hammer. Another one for the stainless steel series collection. And this one here is a auto punch, made in Japan. If I can get that to focus there, made in Japan. This is by the manufacturer called Sunflag. Very well known in Japan for producing screwdrivers for a very long time. This is their carbide tipped auto punch. You can adjust the tension, hardness at which this thing strikes. Yeah, so if you are familiar with some other Japanese manufacturers, you look through their catalog and you look at what they may have to offer in terms of center punches, or rather auto punches. You may come across a shape like this, and yeah, believe it or not, they are the manufacturers. Okay, I think we can move on to this box here, unassuming box. Okay, so if you are traveling in Japan, or planning to go to Japan, you want to buy some tools, you got to think about how you're gonna bring all this stuff, right? This time around, I didn't have a whole lot of space. I had to be also creative in the way I package all this stuff together neatly so that I make the most use out of my limited space in the suitcase. So this is pretty essentially how I pack things. Yeah, as you can see, not a lot of big things. Yeah, I didn't really go too crazy this time, but those are my receipts. Oh, here's a product card for the Sunflag Auto Punch. Yeah, they offer 3 models in total. That's a nail setter, not a punch, but a nail setter. That's more of a DIY level, if I can call it that. This is my model. Yeah. So there's part numbers. Yeah, it looks like everything has replaceable parts. I assume those are part numbers. Alright, let's move on to the contents of this box. Alright, let's start off with this one here from NSK, or Niigata Seiki. Yeah, plastic calipers. I featured this manufacturer many years ago when I started this channel. They came up with this very unique, I don't know if it's patented, but they're the only manufacturers that do this with the stepped memory, or lines rather. Easy on the eyes. So this one is made in China. I wasn't sure whether this would be made in Japan or not. I was not surprised that it's made in China, because I have a Shinwa plastic caliper as well, and that one was also made in China, something I bought a number of years ago. So I wanted to give this one a try to see if it might be made in Japan, but it's not. Whatever, not the end of the world. So I don't have the Shinwan one, but I do have this one as well. This one happens to be made in Switzerland. It's in there right there. I don't remember who makes this. If any of you viewers are nice enough to let me know who is the manufacturer of this, that'd be great. That's the logo of the manufacturer. Let me know in the comments down below. And why don't we move on to this thing here, which is upside down. Front face is this. It looks like, yes, they are replacement blades, however many there are in there, maybe probably 5 or 6. Don't think I ever featured this name either. They're based in Hyogo Prefecture in Miki City. Miki is very famous for producing quite a number of woodworking tools. So this is just an example of an item made by Kanzawa. I do have a scraper that I bought a number of years ago. Yeah, I forget what the material that one was called. Very hard scraper. I mean, a very hard plastic. Okay, let's move on to about another item from this one was from Home Assist from Olfa. SK15 is product number. This is for just, I don't know why I bought this, to be honest. It was yeah, I think I was in the middle of my travels and I didn't want to buy anything large or anything cumbersome to carry. Focus. So yeah, this is nice and light and thin, so hence I bought this one. Yeah, not much to this. Safety scraper, cardboard cutter, whatever. How about an item from Focus? How about an item from Knipex? I decided to get this one because it was available at the Tennoz store in Tokyo. I'm sure some of you tool aficionados are fully aware of what this product is. It's their, I guess, one of their latest offerings for their pliers wrench. Yeah, it actually came into use the day I came back from my trip. I actually had to tighten a chrome plated nut on a fixture in the shower head because it had sprung a leak. I just had to tighten that, get that gasket seated, and it did its job. Yeah, I love the details there on the handles. Alright, let's moving on to some other products. Excuse my focus. Oh, yes, I did take an item to work. A couple things. One being this one, another item from Dogyu. Great thing about this thing that I realized as I was playing around with it is a hidden feature, not even advertised on their product card or on their website. The mirror itself is an actual glass mirror, which I like. I bought this one to replace my Shinwa because it was made in China. Not that I hate that or anything like that, but you know, I just wanted to see what else is out there. So I found this Dogyu one on their website, so I want to give this a try. The product itself, the product card itself does not say that it's made in Japan, but you know, just the feel of it is different. Not to say that that's an indicator that it is made in Japan, but it definitely is more weighty. It's more, it feels more quality. um, Now, so going to this hidden feature, I was playing around with it. The top section where it pivots looked different from all the other ones that I've come across. Anyhow, I unscrewed it and I thought, what is that? Could that possibly the tip of a ballpoint pen? So I just decided to scribble. Nothing was coming out initially, but yeah, ink came out. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah, a hidden, unadvertised feature that I noticed. So thank you, Dogi, for that. Cool little item there. Okay, so I got some stickers here. Not much to say about that. Let's move on to some PB Swiss items. I think I came across this one at the Namba store, Namba Factory Gear. This is a 24 karat, yes, 24 karat blade PB Swiss pocket screwdriver with a keychain. PB Baumann branded. So this, I don't know how old it is. I should have asked how long they've had it for. But yeah, this is no longer made. I just decided to snatch the last two, maybe? I can't remember. More PB Swiss stuff with PB Swiss's nano coating, which is something that they developed in-house, if I remember correctly, at least 10 years ago. And it comes neatly placed in their PB Swiss Tools bit holder. You can purchase these separately, as I did so myself. They do have a box where you can place all these neatly in a box. And that is that for PB Swiss. Let's move on to, how about these two items here. Let's see. Sorry about the focus, gentlemen and ladies, if there are any ladies there. I'm holding these two together only because they come from the same company. This is from Tsubo-san. I don't think it's any. Yes, I have featured their products in the past. Yasuri Sogo Meika. So they are a comprehensive manufacturer of files. That's all they do is file making, and they definitely have the largest share in Japan when it comes to file making. Certainly the most well-known name in Japanese files overseas, no doubt. So this is not something that this is just a little swag that I got from the Namba store. Thank you. I don't remember the staff names, the staff's name, but thank you. This is actually not something that they make. This is actually kind of a knockoff, a poor knockoff, if I can say so, of a mesograph. Mesograph is manufacturer based in Germany. So this is a far cry from the real thing, but it's a caliper for right-handers, and it's actually a pen as well. So a pen caliper. Okay, not much more to say about that. Let's move on to this one. Does Tsubo-san have anything to do with Dean? Well, Tsubo-san is decided to, I guess, this is a joint effort, perhaps, between Dean and Tsubo-san, and coming out with a nail. Yes, this is a nail file, if I can say so. But it's different from a nail file that you might see on the back of this. This one itself is also kind of different, but so this is an item that is great for people who may not have the manual dexterity to operate the traditional type of nail clipper. For whatever reason, they may not be able to operate such a thing. And it's also good for people who may experience nail splintering or splitting, particularly in the wintertime or what have you, you're prone to splitting the end of your nail. So this is not a nail file in the traditional sense. It's more of how they described it is Japanese kanna, or a plane. Instead of a file like this one where it ejects, or like, you know, all your shavings fall off, this one here actually is designed to contain the shavings within the body of this unit. So it's got two sides. So as you start to shave or form your nail in this matter, the shavings go inside the body, and on the back here you get the ability to, as you can see, you saw shavings that fell off. It's very, very fine shaving. But essentially, yeah, so this is, I think it was like 300, it's sort of like 300 plane blades that are acting against your fingernail. And as you can see already, I didn't do too many strokes on that fingernail just earlier, but you can see how much I took off there. Slightly cambered surface. This is more of a deeper groove. So yeah, anyhow, that's something different. I don't think, I think that's very unique. I haven't seen anything like that from any part of this world. Let's move on to this one here, which I purchased from the Osaka store. Pardon me for the focus. As you can see, it says Chiyoda, a name that I've not encountered before. Made in Japan, as you can see. What is it? It's actually a hose cutter to get some nice clean cuts on some hose. Maybe a vacuum hose, whatever it may be. That's that. They were nice enough to throw this one in, just an emblem of theirs with double-sided tape. And okay, so you guys are probably wondering what this ratchet is. Alright, so you fans out there of Koken probably thinking, yeah, that looks like a Koken ratchet. Have a listen. Certainly comes across as being a Koken ratchet, doesn't it? I'd say so, and I agree with you. But look, as you have maybe already even noticed, there was no stampings, no letters, numbers to indicate part number or brand manufacturer, with a peculiar handle end here. What is this? So, backstory on this one. I was at the Tokyo store, browsing the store, seeing what they have to offer. I went into the VHA section. Yes, they have a selection of German, primarily screwdriver manufacturer called VHA. And in that small section of theirs, I noticed two ratchets that were sitting on the glass surface. Not prominently displayed, kind of just out of nowhere. There happens to be two ratchets. VHA is known for primarily their screwdrivers, some pliers, and some other niche items. Niche items don't really include socketry items. But I knew what was going on, because going back to 2007 or 8 or somewhere thereabouts, when I deep dove into the world of tools, I downloaded a PDF catalog from VHA, and at the time, you know, I was just enamored by whatever tool company was out there, and I was just browsing through their stuff, and I noticed, you know, they had some ratchets, you know, socketry stuff. At the time, I wasn't really fazed by it. But I think a couple years later, I probably just reviewed the VHA catalog again, and I came across the same ratchet and socketry items. I'm like, wait a second, that looks awfully familiar to the brand that I already like, made in Japan, by the name of Koken. I realized at the time, that second time, that so Koken is supplying products to VHA. So yes, VHA has been offered at one point Koken socketry items. However, on that online catalog, if I remember correctly, I'm pretty darn certain that the Koken ratchets came with the VHA soft finish handle, their standard red black handle, 2-component handle. But yeah, this one, when I looked at it at the store, I was like, first reaction was, hey, that's a Koken ratchet. 2, why the heck does it not have a handle, VHA handle on it? So that's the backstory behind it. As for how they actually got this one, this is already 30 minutes long. I don't want to bore you guys because some of you may not be necessarily a Koken fan, so I'll leave it at that. Interesting item for the collection. Let's move on. This yellow item here is just like a wedge tool, or not really a wedge, more of a panel popper type tool from Dean J. This one happens to be glow in the dark. This one is made in Japan, yes. Nope, made in China, not surprisingly. Yeah, that's that. Here, let's move on to some wrenches. Maybe I should have started off with this one, because if you've stuck around for this long, I appreciate it. Wrenches and sockets and ratchets and that sort of stuff usually is the most interesting, I think. Anyhow, I just got a bunch of whoa, pardon me for that. Getting back to this bunch of wrenches. So I was just browsing at the factory gear store in Tokyo, and I came across the KTC section of the store, and I saw this wrench and I'm like, oh, 3.2 millimeter wrench. It reminded me of the socket, quarter-inch drive socket, 3.2 millimeter socket that I bought some years ago at the Namba store. I'm like, maybe I'll get the wrench this time around. Not that I'll ever use it, but I was like, okay, maybe the socket needs a little buddy. So I got the 3.2 wrench. I started browsing the store more, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, maybe I'll start looking at maybe getting the smallest wrenches available from some of these manufacturers. So here's a Nepros 5.5 millimeter. And then I came across some German stuff, not necessarily a combination wrench, but something that's a little different. Yeah, this is from their electric series, 5.5 for the offset head from Stahlwille, and another German manufacturer, HZ, 610 series, beautiful design. Stunning design, love that. These have been around for a long time. This one's a 6 millimeter. And then moving on to this Italian manufacturer, Uzak, and their 285 series, 5.5 millimeter, 6-point. Yeah, so so browsing through the store, started off with this one and ended up with 4 more other. So I just kind of started off a collection while I was on the store. This one was from a store in Shizuoka. Let's see, I can't remember their name right now, but this is just a a brand that I've known for a long time, but never had an example of. So I decided to get one of these from Sunky, a brand that does not exist anymore, but they definitely made a lot of tools during their times. Okay, so those are the wrenches, and we can move on to two more items here. This one here is from PB Swiss. Look at that knurling, just beautiful knurling. Looks good, feels good. 2mm hex key wrench, something that is perhaps an exemplary item for PB Swiss. So they're hex keys. And another item from Uzag, 280T2. This is also a 2mm T type or a T handle or a T, whatever you call this, T handle hex key wrench, unique style that is exemplary of Uzag rather. So those two items round that off for the little wrenches collection that I started. Uzak, yes, a little sticker that I bought. Just a bunch of Factory Gear stickers. Essex skateboarding, somehow that one's mixed in there. Yes, I am a skateboarder. I do that as a hobby. Love it. And the last thing is, oh no, one wrench I forgot to mention is this one here from Ash or Asahi. Asahi is a name that I've certainly featured in the past. Yes, it's made in Japan. The smallest size they offer in this series is a 10mm. So there's that. Cute little wrench there. And we were left off with this silicone tray or mat, whatever you want to call that. It is different in that I'm not privy to the latest stuff out there, but this one is a two-part. Okay, that's not a surprise, right? There are products that do exist that have that feature, but yes, I have seen bit storage, but I just never seen one with a magnetic tool tray. Not the strongest magnet, but it is there nonetheless. Might need that. I've run into occasions where I have a silicone mat from what was it, Griptico? I can't remember. And I thought, oh, it would be nice if there was a place for a magnet. So here's this product. You got an area there for sockets or whatnot. Yeah, so that's that. Wow, 37 minutes. I think this is probably the longest video I've ever done in my life. If you stuck around to the end, wow, thank you very much for watching. You are a Tool fan. A fan of my channel, perhaps, too. There it is. So if you are planning to go to Japan, better do it sooner rather than later, is my advice. If you can take the time off. Exchange rate is still pretty good. I think I was lucky when I went. It was perhaps the best exchange rate I've experienced in the last, I can't remember the last time it's been this good. Especially so for you Americans. I think the US Japanese yen exchange rate is very, very favorable for you guys. But I don't know how long that's going to last. So yeah, if you're planning to go, book your stuff in advance, including your hotels and stays and whatnot. Take advantage of the exchange rate. And another advice would be another reason to go sooner rather than later is because tourism in Japan, some of you may not know, they just opened up back in October this year to outsiders. So there has been pent-up demand for tourism in Japan. People want to go to Japan. It's just amazing how many people I've come across and locally here. I ask them where do they want to go in this world, and they say most often than not, Japan is the place they want to go. So there's definitely a lot of interest for people wanting to go to Japan. So it's just going to be a matter of time before Japan is going to experience tourists, hordes of tourists, sea of tourists coming in to flock to all the scenic or touristy destinations, such as Kyoto, for example. So, yeah, it's just a matter of time. Better do it sooner rather than later, unless you just want to feel it out. You never know what's going to happen with this world out there today. Yeah, I don't blame you for that. But yeah, I look forward to the next time in Japan. I have some relatives out there, so it's nice to be able to get in touch with them as well as some friends. Yeah, that's it. I'm kind of going on a tangent here. Yeah, thanks for watching.
いらっしゃいませ。いらっしゃいませ。